Hello everyone, welcome back to more Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. Last time we were together, after escaping Junon and absconding with the High Wind, our new airship, we were able to explore all of the world. We visited a few old towns and some new areas. And one of these new areas was a little house hiding up in the mountains on the northern continent where we met the Chocobo Sage. After meeting the Chocobo Sage, we started to learn about new different breeds of chocobos that can get to places that other chocobos can't. So at this point, I'm going to start seeing if I can do the chocobo breeding side quest that's in the Final Fantasy VII game. Before anything else, I want to, be open and honest like I always am. I've never been able to do the chocobo breeding subquest without the help of some sort of guide. In fact, I'm using one right now to help us get through this. Our first goal is we're going to keep talking with the Chocobo Sage and see how much more information we can get out of it. Now what can I do for you? You remember something? I can't remember for the life of me. As we know from the last video, when he can't remember something, we just got to give it a little bit of time for the memories to come back to him. I'm going to run outside and slap some enemies around for a little bit. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, we slapped around a few enemies. Let's see if he's got anything new to say. Oh yeah! That chocobo was... It was bred from a great chocobo and a good chocobo. When they're given carbo nuts while breeding, there's a chance to get one of these chocobos. So where can I find these chocobos? And what about those carbo nuts? Huh. Where was that? What was that nut? Can't remember for the life of me. Oh, okay, I remember. That chocobo. It's on an island southeast of here, a place called Corel, surrounded by greenery. Should be able to catch one just west of Corel, and some carbos nuts too. There used to be some monsters just south of here that had them. Or you might... Funny, what was I saying just now? Can't remember for the life of me. Oh right! It was about the mountain chocobo and the river chocobo I told you about. When you make these two together, you get one that can cross rivers and mountains. And also, what was I saying? Can't remember for the life of me. Oh, yeah, and also, there's one that can cross oceans, too. You're probably going to say you forgot, but how can I get one of those chocobos? Hey, don't tease me like that. To get an ocean-crossing chocobo, you just... Let me see now. Nope, don't remember a thing. Can't remember for the life of me. Right, I remember. You take the mountain and river crossing chocobo, and mate it with a wonderful chocobo you can catch right around here, and you'll get... Can't remember for the life of me. Oh, right, you'll need a Zeo nut. Now let me see, as I remember, the Zeo nut... Where was it you could find those things? Can't remember for the life of me. Oh yeah, Zeo nuts were the favorite of goblins. There's a small island east of here where the goblins have a bunch of them. You remember something? I think that's all I'm going to remember. And he's being honest with us. That's all the information we can possibly get from him regarding breeding chocobos. And that's more or less enough to get what we want done. But thankfully, there's more stuff that we can get to help us understand what we have to do. But before we say goodbye to the Chocobo Sage, I'm going to buy some stuff from him. I had mentioned to you that I am looking at a guide to help me get through the breeding process because, quite frankly, I've never been able to do it on my own. One of the things in the guide is that it explains greens. Different greens have different effects on chocobos. when they're used in battle, they'll keep them in battle for a certain amount of time and make them less likely to run away. But they can also be used to feed chocobos, which will improve their stats. And we'll learn about chocobo stats in a little bit. And overall, probably the best for either case is these Silcus greens. We're going to buy probably about a dozen right now, just so we have them on hand. They're pretty expensive though. But we are all done with the Chocobo Sage. Let's move on to the next part of our side quest. Now for the next part of our side quest, we have to go back to the Chocobo Ranch, which thankfully is a nice quick trip through the high wind here. The music is still all ominous. Okay, there it is, and I'm pretty sure we can land right here and just walk right in. Okay, so right over here we find a little Shiny Materia, and that is a Chocobo lure. That puts us up to 3 Chocobo lures, because the one we had bought earlier in the game we maxed out, creating a new Chocobo lure materia, and that was our 3rd. Chocobo lure materia affects stat. So we have 1 max out and 2 more or less at the beginning. So altogether, all 3 of them could increase our chances of finding chocobos. Now what do you have to say? Oh, what is that? What has the world come to? Stars falling and everything? With things the way they are now, how about raising a chocobo? No, I'm not trying to persuade you for money. It's just because of the state of things in the world. I thought it would be a good and healthy thing for you to raise some chocobos. You just happen to be in luck. It just so happens that we aren't taking care of any chocobos for anyone else, so I could take care of 6 chocobos right now for 10,000 gil per chocobo. How about it? Well, could you take care of the chocobos? To raise a chocobo, you'll need a chocobo stable, and they rent for 10,000 gil. Currently, I can rent up to 6 chocobo stables. If you rent a chocobo stable, we'll keep up to 4 of the chocobos you catch in the fenced area outside. At a later date, you can select a chocobo that you would like to put into your chocobo stable. Chocobo stables cost 10,000 gil. So, we could probably get away with doing this with maybe 3 or 4 stables, but I'm going to rent all 6 just for simplicity's sake. Thank you. My grandson takes care of the chocobos. He's in the chocobo stable at the far right of the farm. Please tell him what you want. So with all that done, we now have all 6 chocobo stables. I'd like to hear about something else. Someone once told me there's a Chocobo Sage somewhere. He seems to know how to raise some great chocobos. If he really does exist, I'd like to meet him someday. Luckily, we've already met the Chocobo Sage. Chocobos aren't hard to take care of. The day-to-day care will all be done here, but please buy food for the chocobo and feed them yourselves. Chocobo's abilities will differ with what you feed it, so feel free to choose your own food. Also, if you're able to find a male and female chocobo that like each other, they'll produce an egg, but only if you feed them a nut. New chocobos inherit the abilities of their parents. I've heard that sometimes new breeds of chocobo are born with special abilities. I've never actually seen it before though. Alright, so now we are going to go into the barn and talk to his grandkids. Now here's our buddy Chocobilly. Welcome! So let's get a little information from him about what we're going to do with these chocobos. Feed. What chocobo eats are greens. The most famous one is the gizzard greens. Chocobos mature differently depending on which greens they eat. Certain greens will boost their stamina. You'll have to figure out what kinds have what effects for yourselves. Oh, and chocobos are born with certain natural abilities. So no matter how much they mature, they can't get more abilities than what they're born with. Remember that if a chocobo's abilities don't increase even though you feed it, that means its limit is reached. It's best to let those kinds of chocobo go, or mate them to get a new chocobo. A male and female chocobo together can produce an egg. Okay. Doesn't tell us much more about it than that. A chocobo out there is part of the stock that you bought. We don't have any right now, so the fenced area is empty. You can only keep 4 chocobos here at once. If you get a 5th one, the first one will have to be let go. If you don't want that to happen, come back and put it in your own stable. Yeah, you can ride this one. And even when you take it outside, this chocobo won't run away when you get off of it. If you want to return it to your chocobo stable, just ride it into the farm. Then you'll be able to feed it again. What are classes? Chocobo strengths are divided by class. Not a whole lot of information there. Let's ask him some more questions. Moving chocobos. It looks like you haven't even caught one yet. Your chocobo stables are empty. I'm getting the feeling he's not going to answer more of these questions until we actually have some chocobos. Nope. But what we are going to do with him right now is buy some stuff. He should have new items now that we're further along in the game. What we want are these right here, Curiel greens. Pretty sure that's what we want. Let me double check. Yeah, we're going to get ourselves about a dozen of these. That might be more than necessary, but hey, we'll just grab it and be done with it. We're going to use these Curiel greens to catch chocobos. The Curiel greens will keep them occupied for about 5 turns if the guides are to be believed, which is probably more than enough time for what we need. We're also going to buy a mimic green, but we don't need that as part of the quest that we're doing right now. We'll need that a little later. And you can see that we've lost a huge chunk of our change. Now it's time to talk to, was it Colel over here? Shoal, welcome! Hey, I've got something good to tell you. The white chocobo likes it when you scratch behind its ears. That's important for later, remember that. But if you scratch it someplace it doesn't like, it'll get mad, so be careful. Hey, do you know what a Chocobo Sage is? Well, you're in luck, Troll, we do, because we met one. What? You've actually met him? Wow, what did he tell you? Now we're sharing all the information we got. Wow, that's amazing. Let me take some notes. What? Let me jot this down. Now she's going to repeat all the information we got from the Chocobo Sage. Other than regular chocobo, there are mountain chocobo and river chocobo. In order for the mountain chocobo and river chocobo to be born, you feed a carbo nut to a great or a good chocobo and have it produce an egg. But we don't sell any carbo nuts. A great chocobo and a good chocobo are found on an island southeast of the Chocobo Sage's dwelling at Corel, and in the area west of Corel. The carbo nut can be found south of the Chocobo Sage's dwelling. Monsters carry them. Let's see, is Bone Village just south of there? One surprise, if you get the mountain chocobo and the river chocobo produce an egg, you'll get a chocobo that can cross mountains and rivers. I bet the right nut for that is the carbo nut. Bigger surprise, there seems to be a chocobo that can cross the ocean. If you cross the ocean, mountains, and rivers, there'd be no place you couldn't go. In order to get an ocean chocobo, you need a mountain and a river chocobo to mate with something else. If you mate the mountain and river chocobo with a wonderful chocobo, you get an ocean chocobo. But you can't use any ordinary nut. The nut that produces ocean chocobo is the Zeo nut. This is the first I've ever heard of it. I wonder where you get them. Zeo nuts are found on a little island east of the Chocobo Sage. Goblins have them, and with this you can produce an ocean chocobo. According to my research, mountain, river, and ocean chocobos are hard to produce. But if you take the right care of the chocobo and increase their class ranking by winning at the races, it'll increase your chances of getting one. Okay, I don't think we have any chocobos to inspect, so I don't think she's going to do anything. Yep, there are no chocobo. So at this point, it's time to go start catching some. So I may have mentioned to you that in the past I could never figure this stuff out on my own. I always had to use a guide. And some guides would tell me stuff like you need a great male and a good female and a good male and a great female, and you had to max out their stats and you had to get them to their highest possible rank racing and all kinds of complicated nonsense. Thankfully, it seems you can just do it as long as you have great or good chocobos. Your chances of accomplishing it are better though with great chocobos that have won races. I'm not positive we can get to racing at this point, and I usually wait until towards the end of the game to do this stuff. But I'm going to do it now ahead of time because I want to see if I can do it, and we get a lot of good goodies ahead of time. Our first stop is going to be to get some great chocobos. Get back onto the highway. There are I think there are just two places where we can get great chocobos. One of them is down over here. Is it over here? Let's see, there we go. And the other place is by Rocket Town. But I believe that your chances of finding them are better over here. Now, hang on, let's put Chocobo Materia on somebody. Red, are you carrying Chocobo Materia? No. It's you, Tifa. No. There we go. I think we'll drop the throw command for the time being. And put the maximize Chocobo lure. And this should give us really good chances of finding chocobos. Ooh, you know what? I should have changed my items around a little bit. Hoping it's at the bottom. Okay, that should keep that chocobo busy for a little bit. Oh, that was probably a bad idea. Because I attacked the chocobo, now it's going to run off. Well, I might as well heal while I'm out here. What I'm going to do is rearrange our items. What we're going to do is put those greens at the very top. There we go. What we want to do is catch great chocobo. And according to what I'm reading here, is chocobo of different quality will appear with different enemies. And I think these are the enemies that we want. We also want to be careful to kill only the enemies and not attack the chocobo. And we caught him. And the Chocobo lore leveled up, make it even easier. So now we're riding our Chocobo. No different than how we normally ride around a Chocobo. But when we let him go, we're going to have the option to send him back to the stables. Let's see, should I send it back to the stables or turn it loose? We're going to send it back to the stables. He's going to run off to the stables, even though being out here in the middle of the ocean, it shouldn't be able to. And when we go back to the stables, we'll see that one Chocobo walking around the fence. We can keep up to 4 Chocobos in the fence, so I'm going to grab 3 more Chocobos off screen real quick. I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Alright, I made a little mistake. These are the enemies we want to see a Chocobo with to get a high quality Chocobo, to get a great Chocobo for this area. And these blue armadillo looking guys are actually a little on the tough side, mostly just because they have a lot of HP. As long as we get it killed before that Chocobo runs away, we're good. And there we go. And just like the last Chocobo, this one's going to get sent back to our stables. I'm going to spend a little time off screen. I'm going to get 2 more Chocobos. Hopefully we'll have 3 great Chocobos and 1 whatever the other type of Chocobo is out here. Okay, we're back at the Chocobo Farm, and there are our 4 Chocobos just wandering around having a good old time. I want to let you guys know that I had saved the game just before entering the Chocobo Farm, because the genders of these Chocobos are not determined until we move them into our stables. So if for whatever reason you don't end up with the Chocobos of the gender that you want, you can just reload the game and try again until you get them. Hopefully we won't be doing too much of that. Alright, Billy. Moving Chocobos. Which one are you going to put in the Chocobo stable? Use the directional button left or right, and circle. This one's not bad. We don't want a not bad. This is a great Chocobo. Want to put this Chocobo in your stable? Let's put it in. Then give Chocobo Male a name. I think we're just going to call him Great Male. Welcome. Okay, we're not interested in the not bad one. This is a great Chocobo. Want to put this Chocobo in your stable? Let's put it in. Alright, it's still a male, so we're just going to leave his name Choco. I'm going to look at our last one, which hopefully will be a female. If not, we'll reset the game and see if we can get a female. Well, what do you know? We got a female Chocobo. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to call this Great Female. and that we have chocobos in our stable now, we might get additional information from Chocobilly. Let's go to releasing chocobos. Which chocobo are you going to let go? Great M? No, we want to hang on to him. Choco? No, Choco can go. Later, Choco. Is it alright to let this one go? Go ahead. So he's going to go back out into the wild and have himself a good old time. We have one out in the pen, which we actually don't want to hang on to. We're going to see if we can get rid of it. Nope, we're going to let it go. Yep, letting him go. Go ahead. So, feeding chocobos will be the next. We got 2 gizzard greens, 7 curial, 1 mimic, and 12 silkets. As he already explained, feeding them greens will increase their stats. Where are all my other greens? I'm sorry, I got confused with the curial greens because they're spelled with a K instead of a C. Feeding greens to the chocobos will increase their stats. Their stats are for when you race them. We don't have to feed them, but giving them these greens will give them better stats over the course of the game, and as they breed, their children will have better stats. So we're going to give each one of them 1 gizzard green. Stamina plus, and they're getting along better. They're getting along better, I think, means that the chocobos will be more likely to breed with each other sooner. And we'll give the female one as well. Speed plus, they're getting along better. Well, we don't want to release any more chocobos. Which one are you going to take? Now we can pick which chocobo we want to go riding along with. We're actually going to skip that for the time being. And the other choice is to mate them. Which 2 chocobo are you going to mate? Take the 2 you like and make your decision. So at this point we would walk up to the ones that we want to mate, and then pick the nut that we want them to use. That means we're going to have to go and get the nuts. But, well, now we're going to have Troll inspect them. To tell me that story, let me tell you about each chocobo's abilities. From what I see, the fastest sprinter is Great Male. The fastest one is Great Male. From what I can tell, the most stamina is Great Female. Finally, the most intelligent one is Great Female. So now we know who dashes the fastest, who has the fastest speed overall, who is the most intelligent, and who has the most stamina. And what do we got over here? That's Great Female. Over here, the Great Male. And I said, you know what? It's time to go get some nuts. You know we need Carbos nuts, and we need Xeon nuts. So let's go get those. We were told that south of the Sage's hut, monsters carry the Carbo nuts. We also know that south of the Sage's hut is Bone Village. So that's where we're going to start our search. And there we go, there's Bone Village. We actually want to go to one of these little islands over here. Not entirely sure if it makes a difference which one. We're going to land here. We want to run around looking for a monster. It's a, kind of a tough monster. Tough in so much that it has a lot of hit points. Not so much that it puts the beating on us. And what do you know, we got him in the first shot. This is Valcorodos. So we can find them on this island. But it turns out you can actually find these monsters right outside of the Chocobo Sage's hut. But you have to be running around in the green grass. And there you go, there's the monster. What are they called again? Valcadoro, something like that. I figured since if I'm gonna find them out here anyways, might as well save myself some time and just, you know, get the seeds right now. Or the nuts, rather. A little odd, though, there that I couldn't sense it. They weren't all that terribly tough, except that they had a great deal of HP. Alright, there we go. I was able to steal a Carbos nut from there. And now in another fight, I found out that they were susceptible to bad breath. Put them to sleep and poison them, which was great for cutting down their HP and slowing them down. Also silenced them. And then in my final fight with it, able to steal our third Carbo nut. Big guard, of course, to put up our defenses a little bit, and more importantly, haste us. And I used the bad breath trick again to, you know, slow it down and drain away its health. But while it was asleep, I could just pelt it with magic over and over again. And since it was susceptible to laser, I could drop off huge chunks of its hit points one at a time. Unfortunately, it wasn't a multiple of what before. So Red and Yuffie kept using laser over and over again until I had drained it of as much energy as I could. And Tifa just kind of threw other magic at it just so I could see what would happen. I think right here I'm using Comet. Comet being a non-elemental attack. I figured since Poison works on it, let me try Bio, and we throw a Bio 3 at it. And that was the end of it. All 3 seeds, while I was working on the Sage. Now I'm just going to quickly put this guy down. I didn't have enough sense to take a Steel Materia with us. So we're just going to kill it and see if we can get a nut from just defeating it. I should be using bad breath. Tifa, if you would be so kind. And there we go, there's a Carbos nut. And with that, we have all the nuts we're going to need for breeding. Well, we'll have all the Carbos nuts we need for breeding. We still need to get one more nut. And those we heard were from goblins on an eastern island. So we got these islands over here. We have these islands up here. we're going to go to the one with the forest. It might even say something like Goblin Island. Let's check. Yep. And this time I'm going to have enough sense to put some materia on so we can steal. So now it's just time to run around until we find goblins. And we're going to need one Zeo nut. There we go, 2 goblins. Goblin Punch. Goblin Punch is actually an enemy skill we can learn. So I'm going to try to manipulate one of these buggers and learn Goblin Punch from him. Couldn't steal anything. There we go. Now we got him. Let's mug the other one. Couldn't steal anything. Bugger. But we can learn Goblin Punch. Well, yep, you must already know it. Use it on Tifa this time. This time we'll use it on Red. Couldn't steal anything. Goblin Punch is a pretty interesting little power. It uses no MP and does elemental damage. On top of that, if you and the enemy are the same level, it does extra damage. Couldn't steal anything. See, this is one of the reasons I don't like Mug over Steel, because Mug will keep doing damage, and eventually the enemy will die. When you use Steel, you deal no damage, and you just keep going until you steal from them. But who knows, maybe we'll have earned a Zeo Nut in the fight. No luck. Alright, I'm gonna keep fighting here until I get a Zeo Nut. I'll be right back. Okay, what do you know? We got our Zeo Nut. And since they are multiples of level 4, I'm gonna see if I can morph them into anything. Oh, putting us to sleep. She does not have the ribbon, so that would probably... Oh, missed. Unfortunately, we can't morph somebody that was stole from into an item. But we are all done here. Let's head back to the ranch and start the breeding process. Actually, you know what? Before we do the breeding, let's take a quick stop over to the Golden Saucer and see if we can even get in there to do any racing. I'm sadly under the impression that we cannot, because I do know it closes at one point during the game. Let's check. Gold Saucer is currently closed. The ropeway's up and running, but there's no point going there. So yeah, I guess we're out of luck. No Chocobo racing until a little later in the game. With that being the case, let's head back to the Chocobo Farm. With all the necessary nuts, we are ready to start the breeding process. First thing I'm going to do is feed the chocobos. This is not required, but I'm going to do it because I want their offspring to have higher and higher stats with each generation. So we're going to give Silkish Greens to both the male and female. Alright, so Great Male will get 6, which will give him nice benefits to all his stats. Not all of his stats, most of them. Speed plus, Stamina plus, Intelligence plus. They're getting along better. And let's quickly do the same thing with the female. Speed plus, Stamina plus, and Intelligence plus. And they're also getting along better. Now we're going to try breeding them. So you want to choose mating chocobos. Which 2 chocobos are you going to mate? Talk to the 2 you like and make your decision. I don't think it really matters which order you pick them in, but in some cases it might. So pick one first. We're going to go with, what is this, Great Male first. And of course we need a female, and the only other one is Great Female. So let's mate these 2. Yeah, let's go ahead. Which nut are you going to give them? We got a lot of different nuts, but to get a special chocobo, we have to use a carbos nut at this point. I'm going to let you guys know, again, that I saved beforehand. So if after the breeding we don't get the chocobo that we want, we could reload the game and try again until we do. It will save you a little bit of time in the long run, but it's your call whether or not you want to reload and save and reload and save like that, or if you just want to keep trying until you get it. This one alright? Yes, it is. And in the morning you get yourself a new chocobo. Then give Chocobo Male a name. Well, as you can see by clearly looking at him, he's just another regular old yellow chocobo. We don't want to hang on to him, so what we're going to do is reset the game and give it another shot. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, what do you know? We got ourselves a green one. You got yourself a new chocobo. And give Chocobo Male a name. Now it's important that we remember what gender this one is. So we're going to name him Green Male. And I also think it's important that I let you know that the way I was resetting the game was by pressing all 4 of the shoulder buttons along with Start and Select, which I think is called a soft reset. That is potentially very important, because if you reset it by, say, turning the system on and off, or in my case, which is at PS3, using the home button, that's considered a hard reset. And when you reset like that, you set the random number generator in the game back to its beginning, which means you will get stuck getting the same result over and over again because the random number generator hasn't had a chance to change because you've been resetting it manually. But when you reset it soft like that, the random number generator will continue to change each time because the game hasn't been considered to have been turned off. But we got our Green Male. And actually that was kind of the easy part. Now what we want to try to do is get a blue female, which is going to be a little more challenging. Also, our 2 parents here, the Great Male and Female, aren't going to be ready to breed again until some time has passed. So what I'm going to do is go fight a little bit off screen and then come back here later to try to breed them again. I'll see you guys in a little bit. We've slapped around a bunch of enemies and we're ready to try breeding again. While I was off screen, I took the time to sell a bunch of stuff we didn't need anymore, like a bunch of those nuts And I stopped by the Chocobo Sage to get more Silcus greens. But we are going to try to mate again. And hopefully Mama and Papa are ready to try again. And we are of course going to give them another carbo nut. And this will probably be the longest, tedious part for me. Because we need to get a blue chocobo, but the blue chocobo has to be female. So that way we can breed the blue one with the green one. So, wish me luck. Of course, I will cut out all the extra scenes of getting the wrong chocobo until we get the right one. Alright, excellent. A blue chocobo. And it's female. Alright, we are good to go. We are going to call you Bluette. You know, all in all, I would say that didn't take too long. Maybe around 30 minutes or so, but I did end up going through something like 3 blue males and 3 green males. So, Chocobilly, I would like to feed our new chocobos. We're going to give green and blue 6 of these Silcus greens. Now, blue and green should have pretty good stats from their parents. Speed plus, stamina plus, intelligence plus. They're getting along better. Now we'll do the same for Greenie. Alright, speed plus, stamina plus, intelligence plus. Everything we expected. Now, I don't know if newly born Chocobo are ready to breed right off of hand. I wouldn't think so, but, you know, it's a video game, so, you know, why make us wait if we don't have to? But I'm going to do what I always tell you guys to do, and that is to save smart and save often. So, give me 1 second to go save the game. Then we're going to come back and try breeding the 2 of them. This should be a much easier part. Alright, now we're ready to try mating blue and green. Assuming that they're... You shouldn't mate those that just mated or those that were just born. There doesn't seem to be any others you can mate with. So we're out of luck, at least for a little while. I'm going to go out and, you know, beat in some skulls for a little bit. And then we'll come back here and try breeding them. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, we've slapped around a bunch of enemies, and we're ready to start breeding again. And this time, we're going to breed green and blue. So we're hoping to get a black. Our chances should be a little bit better, or just around the same, of getting a black one, as our chances were getting a green or a blue one with the 2 yellows. Let's go ahead. So as usual, we're going to use the carbo nut, and I will just edit out all the extra attempts that it takes until we get our black chocobo. Wish me luck. Alright, we got one! Now, let me tell you, my numbers were way off. The chances were much lower getting a black chocobo this way than getting a blue or a green breeding the yellows were. In fact, this was so terribly tedious and took so long, you're probably so much better off just waiting until you can race them. But what do you know? We got our black chocobo. What gender is it? Okay, female. So we will call you Black F. So Black F is going to need a few rounds of battle before it's able to breed, and a black chocobo needs to breed with a wonderful chocobo. So now it's time to go catch some of those. Wonderful chocobos are actually some of the best chocobos you can catch just for the purposes of racing. They'll have overall the best stats once you've fed them and trained them up. But we only need the one, so we can breed them. Okay, here are our chocobo tracks. This is our only place to land. Tifa has 2 chocobo lures on, so it shouldn't be too hard for us to get a chocobo. Alright, this is what we're looking for. We want a chocobo, one of these jumping enemies. And we caught him. Let's send you back to the stables. Now, that one chocobo is probably all we need, because we just need a male wonderful chocobo. And since gender is determined when we move them into the stables, we could always just keep going back and forth until we get the gender we like. But I need to do a little more fighting off screen, if nothing else, just to get our black chocobo ready for breeding. So I'm going to say goodbye to you for you it will probably be for a few seconds, while I grab a few more chocobos and do a little more fighting just to get ourselves ready. Catch you in a minute. And we're back at the Chocobo Farm, and you can see wandering around what I hope is 3 wonder chocobos. I only have 3 wonderful chocobos because I honestly couldn't stand the tedium of trying to catch these guys. I want you to think about that for a second. I, who sat there trying to breed blue, green, and black chocobos, couldn't stand how tedious it was to catch wonder chocobos. Well, I'm sure one of them is male, so let's head in there. Alright, Billy, let's take a look at our chocobos. Okay, a wonderful chocobo. Alright, it's male, so I don't think we can fit wonder male. We'll just put 1 male. Now, I would like to start breeding them, but we only have 6 stables, so we gotta clear out some room. We'll have to release at least, well, we have to release at least 1, but I think what we'll do is release both the great male and female. They've done their job. Alright, now before I start breeding them, I think I'll save real quick, because I'm sure I'll have to breed them over and over a few times before we get a gold one, and I don't want to have to pick a new wonderful male, name him, and release the other 2 every time. I'll be back in a second. And now we're ready to start breeding. First thing I'll do is feed the black and the wonder chocobo. They'll get 6 Silkus greens each. And let us do the same for the wonder male. Alright, breeding time, moment of truth. We're going to mate this black one with this wonderful one. Let's go ahead. And we are going to use that Zeon nut that we got so long ago from the goblins. Yes, it is. So you guys know the deal at this point. We're going to see if we can get them to breed a gold and how many times it's going to take me to do it before we get one. Woohoo! We got it! Finally got it! You got yourself a new chocobo. And give chocobo female a name. We finally got our gold chocobo, so we are going to call you Goldie. Whew. Oh man, that took forever. But there you go. There's Goldie, our female golden chocobo. Okay, let me let you guys know a few things. One, I don't think this was worth it. I do not think for 1 second it was worth all the time I put into this to get this gold chocobo this early in the game. If you're watching this and you're thinking, you know, when I play this, I want to get gold chocobos. You know what? Just wait until you can get the golden saucer and do the racing. It's really worth it. You're going to earn lots of GP and get lots of great items, and I'll show you all that stuff later. So if you want to get gold chocobos, just wait until later in the game because this was not worth it. Like I said, I was looking at guides to help me get through this because normally I can't really do this on my own. There was one guide about how to manipulate the random number generator to get yourself the chocobo even faster, but I skipped all that because that seemed like too much work to me. But it cannot be nearly as much work as this nonsense I just went through. But you know what? We're all done and we're going to call it an episode here. I hope you enjoyed our little chocobo breeding extravaganza. And when we are together next time, I think I'll take these chocobos out for a little ride, and we'll go get all those special little items that we can only get with them. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next episode.